I know what it is. I know what it is. Du, du, du. That should resolve it now. Them bloody headphones, Kyle. Again, turned into my mic. You should be able to hear me now, Daniel. I had a set of earphones. But anyway, guys, sorry. The show is supposed to be with Niche Website Builders and Dave. Hopefully he can come online. He's just got a couple of internet problems just now. I thought I'd start the show just so that you guys don't bugger off and assume that the show is not on. If Dave can't make it for any reason, I will answer any questions and talk a bit about niche websites, mistakes I've made, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But hopefully Dave does make it. And if he can't, then I'll be more than happy to talk about some of my projects and keep the show on the road anyway. And hopefully Luke is saying there that they're still trying their end and Dave should hopefully be joining us. But guys, in the chat, let us know any questions you've got about niche websites. I am just going to dig out some slides from a previous presentation that I've done. Which is all about affiliate and all that stuff. So I will do that if Dave doesn't make it. But whilst we find out if Dave is coming, ask some questions. If you've got any questions relating to niche website builders, I'll do my best to answer them, or niche websites in general, or if you're in an agency and you want to try and, get out of that or get a side hustle going on, I am more than happy to answer any of your questions relating to that. So do let me know what questions you guys have got, and I will do my best to answer them. But we'll give it another minute or so to see if Dave can come, and if he doesn't, I will start with the presentation. YouTube. Making sure I've got everything set up to do a presentation. And please do give us a little like and subscribe on the channel if you don't mind. That always helps, a bit of engagement. So, Gorilla Grass, what's the general process? Very, very generic question. The generic process I will talk through in my slides if I get the opportunity. It'll probably be better than trying to condense it into a short answer. So I'll tell you the process, some of the mistakes I made, and hopefully as a result of that, your process will be a lot quicker, a lot easier, and you'll have more food for thought when it comes to your actual process, because I did mess up multiple times when diving into affiliate websites, and I'll explain some of the reasons why in just a moment. So I'm going to start with my slides. If I have to stop, I can do this another time anyway. But I am going to start because it's rude not to, and keep you guys waiting. So just going to start sharing my screen. Yes, I'll go for the presentation just now. Look, just give me a shout. I'll see Dave coming anyway, if he can make it. If not, let's go for my presentation. But anyway, so I'm going to flick through the slides here. So just a bit of backstory. I was a freelancer working in my bedroom for probably 3 or 4 years of my career. Then I built up my own digital marketing agency, which I ran for 10 years. I then went into affiliate marketing, invested in other businesses, and regularly buy and sell digital assets. The exact same as what niche website builders can help you with. Now, I hated clients and needed to find a niche first and foremost. Now, why did I hate clients? It just wasn't for me, all the client management, sales, everything, just wasn't for me. I didn't want to do that particular role. So I didn't like the client side of work. So I wanted to go out there and find a niche. And I always say, fuck the clients. I always add that to every slide. But some clients are great, and obviously client work can be good to get the cash flow coming in. So SEO is my skill. Driving traffic to a website is something I'd learned to do. So I wanted to effectively make money online. Now, can I make money online? Yes, I can. And you can see in this example, I have been able to do that. I've been able to do that over a consistent period. That's the yearly kind of graph there. I've been able to do it for the last 7 or 8 years now. So you can see the traffic, the revenue. Obviously, the revenue is not turnover. Now, what I do want to highlight here is the fact that, I've done it over a prolonged period of time. Everyone's got this misconception that if you're doing affiliate websites, that you're only going to get a year or two out of them. That's not the case. I'm in it for the long haul. I've got websites that rank and continue to grow 7, 8, 9 years down the line. So that worked very, very well for me. Now, how did I get so much traffic so quickly? Everyone's obsessed with SEO and all that kind of stuff. So how did I get traffic so quickly? Now, the first thing I done with this particular project was to leverage other affiliates. It wasn't SEO, it wasn't paid ads. I leveraged other affiliates because the product was something that many people have got a hobby about. There's a lot of bloggers in that niche and everything else. So leveraging other affiliates was the first thing I'd done. I offered them a commission and all that kind of stuff. Now, even to this day, the referral traffic is still one of the highest traffic sources on my website. Now, yes, I've got organic search. Yes, I've got paid ads, and I've got a whole bunch of other stuff. But 38% of my traffic comes through other affiliates. So I gave some of the revenue away to other affiliates. But what it done was help me grow very, very quickly. It got all those engagement metrics on there. It got me traffic. It done all of that kind of stuff almost within, a 2 or 3 month period. So I was able to do that and leverage that, and over the longer term, work on the SEO side of things. But that particular business is a digital downloadable product. It's not Amazon affiliate. It's not anything else. Now, there's a reason for that. Now, the mistakes that I made and the conclusion that I jumped over to the digital download was, and I'll give you the reasons why, I entered or tried to enter the space making a lot of mistakes. Now, years ago, I decided I wanted to launch a vaping website, e-cigarettes, vaping, all that stuff. And I seen the search volume. So the first thing I'd done, jump in, check the search volume, and went, whoa, there's a lot of search volume here. Now, obviously, we can see the keyword difficulty is extremely high. It wasn't as high back when I was doing this. Now, what I didn't realize, so for me, the point I want to try and make is I'm an impulsive guy. So I always jump in two-footed and dive into things without giving too much thought for anything else. And that's exactly what I've done with the vaping niche. Now, what I found out after 6 or 9 months of doing SEO, building up the website and all that stuff, was that I couldn't do Google AdWords. I couldn't do no paid social media. I couldn't do any of that stuff because obviously the government don't want this stuff being promoted, or Facebook or whoever is in charge of making those decisions. So I wasn't able to grow and scale the business the way that I wanted to do it. I could only rely on organic search. Now, we got some of the traffic coming through and all that kind of stuff. Now, this was a drop shipping type of business. Now, you can see here, PayPal were the only people that would take payments. And what we started to get some buyer complaints. Now, one example of one of the buyer complaints says that the drop shipper was sending out the wrong brand of the kind of vape, of the what do you call it again? The liquid. So he sent out a different thing to the customer, and of course the customer was reversing their payment. They didn't get the product that they paid for. So drop shipping was a problem. Having the right drop shipper was a problem. We found out later on that it was a guy in his kitchen making this stuff up and couldn't deal with the volume in terms of getting the products out to the clients. Now, because of all of that, the business didn't really go that well, and we eventually just made the decision to throw it in the bin. So drop shipping wasn't for me. Things were getting lost in the post. The right stuff wasn't being sent out and all that kind of stuff. Now, another niche that I want to talk about. I bought a website back in 2018, Christmas Eve. I was bored. And I was speaking to a chap called Dan Morgan on Facebook. And he asked me if I wanted to buy this website, golfgearhub.com. So that's fine. I'm sitting there. My wife was heavily pregnant. I was bored and I ended up buying this Amazon affiliate website. Now, the website looked clean, tidy, as you would expect from every other affiliate website out there. Now, I continued to talk to the guy that was selling the website. And you can see the part I've highlighted in red. The website is slightly seasonal, as you can see. I totally was oblivious to that. I was just like, right, come on, give me a figure here, what you want to sell it for. Now, he showed me what the website had earned. He showed me, he was looking for a 20 times multiple, which would have given me a price of $12,574. So I had to do a few more checks, check things out, and I'll get back to him. Now, I basically agreed to get that website for 10 grand. I haggled him down and offered some SEO stuff in return as well. So I got it for 10 grand. Now, you can see at the start of 2019, I get a very quick increase in traffic. And that traffic increased throughout February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and then it starts to tail off. Now, why did that tail off? Not because of bad SEO or anything other than it was seasonal. That's the problem. Now, you'll be able to see at the very bottom of this that, in March, you're paid for January's Amazon affiliate fees. That's just the way it works. But if you work your way up, you'll be able to see I went from 300 to 400 to 700 to 800 to 1200. And then it started to tail off because of that seasonality type thing. But I was able to grow and scale the website fairly easy. And one of the best months at one point I had was £1,300. Now, a website that's earning, I've got one on here, and it's actually slightly higher now because this screenshot was from a few years ago. You're actually getting 50 times the multiple for a website. At that point, it wasn't quite between 40 and 50. Now, I bought links. I'd done all the usual stuff, content, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I basically bought the website for 10 grand. Now, I paid about $2,000 in content. I bought $2,000 worth of links. So in total, I was out for 14 grand. Now, over that period of time of bringing in revenue, I earned about 4 grand anyway. So my actual outlay on this particular website was still only the 10 grand I initially paid for it, because the money that was coming in, I was basically spending in content and links to scale it. And I was able to sell that website for a lot more money. Now, I'm outsourcing a lot of this work. I'm outsourcing the content. Now, it's probably not fair to say it was only 20 minutes work. It was probably slightly more. but it was fairly easy. Everything was hands off. I invested in everything rather than doing it myself. Now, for a 25 times multiple on that particular website, I would have got 37,500. I actually sold the website for around about 40 grand. Now, as I say, even now you can get between 40 and 50 times the monthly net profit for your website. So to spend 10 grand and be able to get 40 or 50, I was 4 or 5 times in my money. Not the best. And the reason I'm showing it is I'm not here to say, I flipped a website for X, Y, and Z. I want to show that people can invest smaller amounts of money and they can still quadruple their investment doing this. Now, that was a website that was in a seasonal niche and all that kind of stuff. Now, you'll be able to see other websites I've been able to do it with as well. US Combat Sports, I bought the website middle of 2019. You'll be able to see that I scaled it up into 2020. Then I sold the website on to a guy called Deepak Shukla, who hasn't done anything with it since, which is why it's got a massive decline. So increasing these websites is fairly easy. Getting those clicks, getting those earnings up and everything else is relatively easy. Now, on the US Combat Sports website, I found a project where a guy wanted $2,000 for the website. Now, he hadn't actually monetized it. He'd only put content on the website. All I'd done was add the affiliate links. All I'd done was spend another $2,000 in backlinks and then sold that particular website for 40 grand. So a much bigger return on investment on that particular project. Now, the reason I've got a picture of a vulture here is when I'm looking for websites to buy, and yes, I always try and buy something that is earning some kind of money, is I'm looking for someone that has poured their heart and soul into the content. I'm looking for someone that's maybe slightly naive to how SEO works. Can I get something and grow and scale it using my own SOPs, my own team, my own cash, whatever it might be? Can I do that to grow and scale an online business? So sometimes you're looking for opportunities there, and that is the way I feel sometimes, like a vulture. You're just looking around in the groups going, who can I pounce on next? Who's got something where I can take it up to the next level? Now, I've not got to stop my presentation. I'm just double checking that that Dave didn't come. So Dave's still not came. Now, Mick, I will come back and answer any questions, and any other questions that people have, please do put them in the chat. I will come back and answer them, but I'll just carry on with the presentation. So could I have done better? Could I have worked harder? Yes. I outsource a lot of the work. Now, that doesn't mean it's low quality work. The people that you outsource it to is entirely up to you. You want to make sure that they are skilled people, they have the right training, and they have the right processes to work at scale on your projects. You can automate a lot of stuff. So yeah, you can figure things out, use virtual assistants, invest that cash wisely. Work smarter, not harder, would be my philosophy. Now, there's a guy out there, Robert Kiyosaki, who doesn't need any introduction. I'm sure many of you will be well aware of who this guy is. Now, in school, they teach you how to work for money, but they don't teach you how to make money work for you. Now, it took me a long time to figure that out. And all I'm doing now is making my money work for me and able to get that return on investment, buying things, buying deliverables, buying SEO in order to flip it for more money. So I'm making money work for me now. So that is something that took me a long, long time to get my head around, and trying to get my own money working for me rather than me working for money or doing the client thing. And of course, we have to sometimes work for money to be able to then go on and invest into other things. Now, a lot of people say, Craig, what is it you actually do? Obviously, I have always been an SEO and always will be, but asset allocation, it doesn't matter what you buy. You've got a portfolio, whether you buy stocks, whether you buy bonds, whether you buy digital assets, it is really up to you. Obviously, I want a return, I want to reduce risk, I want to stick with the plan and all that kind of good stuff in order to make money. And that's all I know is SEO. It's something I've done for a long, long time. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything about stocks, bonds, shares, crypto. So why would I invest in that stuff? I'm not saying don't invest in it, because I'm sure people do very well from it. But for me, the risk and the confidence and everything else is all surrounding digital assets. I don't know anything else. So digital assets is a great thing to invest in. Now, anytime I do a tweet or whatever, I had done a tweet a couple of weeks ago, and I said, if you had 200 grand just now to invest into something, and you invested that into a property, what are you likely to get from that? Now, at best, you will probably get £1,000 a month to rent that property out. Now, you're going to have a mortgage of £300 or £400 on that particular property, if not more, depending on how much you put down on it. Now, let's say you paid for it 200 grand in cash, you're going to get £1,000 a month back tops. Now, if you had 200 grand and you went to invest in a digital asset, you're likely to get a website that earns between 5 and 7k a month if you go to Empire Flippers. So a lot of people will then respond to that tweet, but Google might slap you with an update, Google might do this, Google might do that. And they're right, there is a point to that, but my job is not to get my website penalized. My job is not to do some shady shit that's going to get my website banned. The job is to continue to grow it and sell it using the best methods that I believe are available and that are not likely to impact on Google coming and slamming me. Google haven't slammed a good website that does good stuff. They haven't. So try and not cut corners when you're investing. Do your research, and not just into the SEO side of things, into the business in general, because the golf website had seasonality. I stupidly overlooked that. Now, do I want to invest my money in a website that only earns money or good money for 6, 7, 8 months of a year? Absolutely not, because the same time and effort could have went into something, a product that sells 12 months of the year. So avoid seasonality and stuff like that. Now, the vaping niche had a lot of legal red tape. That's fine. We can go over that. There was a lot of search. And as I say, very quickly slapped a WordPress and WooCommerce thing up. Now, the profit, the product was like $15 for e-liquid. Now, again, diving into footed first and, all that kind of stuff, it costs me the same amount of time and effort to sell something that sells for £5 profit as it does for £500 profit. Because I'm outsourcing a lot of this stuff, because I'm getting someone else to do the content, because of all of that, why the hell would I ever sell something like e-liquids that makes me £5 profit? Why would I ever do that? When I can go and find something a bit more niche, a bit more specific, that has a much higher ticket item. So just bear that in mind as well as the cost of the product and the commission that you're likely to make. Don't know why these slides have been repeated, but so try not look for stuff that's seasonal and stuff like that. Try and avoid it. That would be my advice. Now, a lot of people say, Craig, where did you find this website? Where do you find these things? Now, websites between $1 and $10,000 can be found on this particular Facebook group by Investors Club. It's called Flipping Websites. There's a lot of different opportunities on there, a lot of different people selling little projects, and you can get in at the very, very bottom of the market, which is great for learning, great for everything else, hence why I'm showing you that one. Now, a lot of people also say, Craig, Amazon commissions crap. Yes, they've cut their commissions several times over the last few years, to the point where you ask yourself the question, should I be doing this is Amazon affiliate the best thing to be going after? Now, with the golf website, they cut the commission down to about 3%. Now, could I have went to American Golf and signed up and got 10%? Could I have went to Golf Outlets USA? Primarily the US market is where I was selling to with the affiliate website. Again, I could have got a 10% commission, and they're also given a very generous 30-day cookie policy. So could I have further monetized the website? Could I have changed the monetization method away from Amazon onto something else that pays me slightly more money? I get that Amazon don't particularly care about affiliates. They don't need us anymore. They're too big, but there are other monetization methods. So even buying up an Amazon affiliate website and changing out the monetization method is something you can do to scale up that monthly net profit. Now, websites we can scale up very, very quickly. As you can see from a graph like that, it's not hard to do. Now, in order to do that, you see a lot of guys out there posting, I've got this website off the ground and it's got, insane growth. How did that happen? Now, in my opinion and experience, people are leveraging aged domains or expired domains. Now, again, a lot of questions come out. Do aged domains come out a lot? Do expired domains actually really expire? It's all crap that's on there and all that kind of stuff. That's not entirely true if you take the time and effort to sift through the mud and look for stuff. Now, I'll give you an example. Nigel Farage, mep.co.uk. Nigel Farage, former European Parliament member, the guy that led the Brexit campaign in the UK. He stupidly let his domain name expire. Now, he had backlinks from the BBC, the Business Insider, Wikipedia. He literally had millions and millions of pounds worth of backlinks that I could never get, ever. The Guardian and everything else. Just impossible to go out there and buy. Now, I did grab that domain name. I did also release that story to the press. And I was also able to get myself even more backlinks with my face in the paper, including the Daily Mail and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously with Nigel Farage, it was very, very difficult to turn that into an Amazon affiliate website. But the point being here is that you can get high profile expiring or aged domains that do drop. Guys like that do it. There's always a reason. Businesses go bust, people die, people retire. There's a whole bunch of reasons why domains might pop up. So it's wise keeping your eye on that and leveraging the power and authority that those domains have. Now, with the Nigel Farage, we can easily go back to the Wayback Machine, grab his old website, throw it up, all the old content, everything else, and all that kind of stuff. And, very simple and easy to do for any website that's out there. Now, this part is a very important step. Recreating the old URLs and joining the dots and making sure that all those backlinks are now live again is an important step in this process, because so many people, again, say expired domains don't work that well. They haven't worked for me, this, that, and the next thing. Are you recreating it? We've seen these website builders, they put up their acquisition page, they do all of that kind of stuff. Again, similar method here. Recreate this, make sure that you join all the dots, put up an acquisition page, whatever you want, and then then you can potentially do your redirects at that point, whether that's a 301 redirect into your main domain name or whether you simply redirect to new pages on the domain that you've acquired. So it's up to you. What do I use to find expired domains? Spamzilla.io is a great tool which shows you the kind of majestic metrics. It shows you Moz, it shows you DR, it shows you the redirects, the history, the drops of a domain name, whether stuff's in Google's index or not. It also gives you a little spam score if the website has been used for something that maybe shouldn't have. So that always works very, very well. Now, obviously, tiered link building, that was just part of the presentation, digital PR, other tricks on there. They're not really relevant to niche websites. So I'm not going to go through that. Content, and I know someone asked something about content there. I feel, and I know that the niche website builders guys do also feel that an aggressive content strategy is the way forward. They're hitting any of the case studies that they've shown you guys aggressively with new content. You know, I think Adam was on last week and he was talking about a project that he's currently doing. And I think it was something ridiculous, like 2,200 articles are in the process of being done over the next, whatever, the next year. That's how many articles he wants on. So an aggressive content strategy is important. Now, I delegate a lot of the content writing. Niche website builders can do it for you. You can get it done by your own team, whatever you like, the whatever works. Now, a little thing that works very well for me is South Africa. Now, a lot of these guys will charge you anything between £600 and £900 pounds per month, full time, to be a content writer. This particular person wanted between £780 and £900. Obviously, you can always negotiate down, but the reason for South Africans is I go on to Gumtree. On South Africa, there is no onlinejobs.ph for South Africans. And obviously, if you go on to Upwork, it's very difficult to find a particular person from a particular country. So Gumtree for South Africa, placing an ad on there will help you. Now, they are native English speakers. That is their first language in South Africa. They have a much lower cost of living than people in the UK or the US do. Why would I pay a wage of 2 or 3K per month to someone in the UK if I can get the same quality of service, for $600 or $700 elsewhere? My money has been better spent over there, and I'm going to get more from it. In particular, when it comes to niche websites, every penny's a prisoner. The more you can spend in deliverables, the more successful you're likely to be. Now, one of the other biggest failures I see when it comes to content writing is topical clustering, silo structure, call it whatever you like, so many different terms for it. And I always give this example of what a topical cluster looks like. Now, obviously, you can see in the middle there, podcasts is the main core topic, and we have supporting articles such as comedy podcasts, business podcasts, and so on and so forth. Now you will be able to see the hyperlinks, from those supporting articles to the main podcast page. That forms a topical cluster. That helps Google understand what the structure, what that is, what the main keyword is, what the supporting articles are. That's what a topical cluster is. Now, when it comes to delegating your content writing, how are you doing it? Are you just going out there and saying to someone, I need 200 articles this month? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. That is what most people are doing. They're trying to hit a figure. They're not considering the basics of what is a topical cluster. What do I need to do in order to complete that whole cluster there? Which keywords should I go after first? Go after the whole cluster, the whole lot. Put your main podcast page up and then put your supporting articles up. Between that, you're going to have a very generic search term like podcasts, and you're going to have all the kind of longer tail stuff through your supporting articles. That is how a website should be built. That is how it should be delegated to your content writers. And that is a common mistake that I don't see. I see people writing about a wild bunch of everything. And it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Now, internal linking, we all know, is an important part of SEO. And there's a particular project here where it wasn't a particularly high traffic website, but you'll be able to see that this website got little to no traffic. Some internal links were added and they got a massive jump. Potentially quadrupled their traffic with one bunch of internal links. It was then left to settle for a week, and then more internal links were coming in, and there was another jump. So internal linking and that structure of your website are too important. That's a single variable test on internal links there, and how much that's going to impact a website. That was all that was done to that website, nothing else. So that is the importance of making sure that that structure and the internal linking are on point. Again, a question that comes up: how many words does a page of content need when you're going after this aggressive content strategy? I don't know is the answer. I am not going to sit there and try and give you a figure. There are tools out there like Phrase, which will tell you for a keyword like SEO in Glasgow, it scrapes the top 20 search results and comes back and tells me that on average, we're going to need a target word count of around 1,157. With these headings, it's given us the people also ask stuff. It's given us the topical clusters, the services. It's even given us questions and statistics. Now, that is the content brief that comes from Phrase. How many people are using that? Now, some of you will say, yeah, I use that. Giving that content brief to a content writer is vital. The chances of that content writer understanding what you sell is slim to none. So you have to give them the questions, the statistics, and everything else that Phrase give you as part of that content brief. Now, copy what those who are winning are doing. That is what Phrase is doing. It's scraping the top 20 search results. It's giving you what Google are currently rewarding in terms of rankings. So it's crazy not to do that. Now, we don't always need new content. Everyone's got this obsession with adding thousands of articles or hundreds of articles to their website every year. I don't believe that that's the right strategy. Now, the reason for it is there's that 80-20 rule. 80% of your traffic will come from 20% of your pages. Now, can we go in there and do content pruning? Can we remove some of those articles that get no impressions and no clicks? Of course we can. Can we merge that content together to form a bigger, longer article that might actually get traffic and rankings? Of course we can. Now, if we look at any page on the internet, could it be the case that it could be further optimized? Could we add more FAQs? Could we add more videos? Can we do all of that stuff? The answer is yes. So don't always focus on 50 articles a month. Go back and do better on your pages that actually make you money as well, and prune that old content. Now, tools like Ahrefs and everything show you what pages are performing well and can they be further optimized. You can use tools like Page Optimizer Pro, Surfer SEO. There's tons of them out there to continue to optimize and improve those pages. So that is a little presentation that I'd done previously. And as I say, wanted to use that today to fill that gap. So it worked out very well for me, and I regularly buy and sell digital assets. And for me, a lot of questions come from people who want to do more of this stuff and invest their money into that type of thing. So that's just some of the pointers, and some of the mistakes that I made, diving into footage, and all that kind of stuff. Now, Gorilla Grass asked, what's the general process? Obviously, I've given you not a step-by-step guide, but I'm looking to buy a website, or an age domain, get some content on there, get some links built to it, optimize the hell out of it, scale up the earnings, and then flip it for money is the general process for me. And obviously, there's a whole bunch of other things to consider in between, such as seasonality and all of that kind of stuff. So it's hopefully that kind of gives you a better guide to what I'm doing, Gorilla Grass. Mick, did you have any experience before I freelanced? Absolutely not. Did I have any experience? I started out as a really bad web designer, is the honest answer, Mick. And I was god awful at it. I tried to learn a bit of HTML and always found it a struggle. So I looked for the next best easy option, which was supposedly SEO, uh, and went down that rabbit hole, and I've never really come back out of it. So yeah, I wasn't, I was only a young guy at the time, left school, had a few dead end jobs, and then kind of fell into this stuff. So yeah, no real any experience or any kind of crazy education or background in any of this stuff. It's all self taught. Um, did you work with any writers in those first stages? Always, one of my first ever hire was a sales guy. My second hire was a content writer, and I had a content writer, and I can't. How long did Cheryl last year, Kyle? 5 years. And I always tell this story. Actually, a really nice girl. I've got nothing bad to say about her, but I held on to her for about 4 or 5 years, and she was just churning out content for plumbers, roofers, gutter cleaning, like all sorts. It was like local landing pages. Her brain was fried in the end, and she literally said one day, like, Craig, is there anything else I can do in here? And I'm like, no, really. Like, we don't get a huge amount of phone calls. There's not a lot else that I can really give you to do. And she ended up leaving and went on to other things, which I'm pretty sure she will never write content again. She must hate it now. But yeah, I bumped through content writers after that. And yeah, even back in the day when I was doing client work and everything, content was always a big focus point. So, and even to this day, even the link building agency and stuff I've got, we still have to work with content writers for guest posts and everything. So no matter what guys you put on it, content is really important. And look, no problem at all, mate. We can do it next week or reschedule or slot them in. Wherever else, we can do it, but no problem holding the fort. Yeah, just I didn't want to piss anyone off and not do anything at all. Aaron Semenoff, good to see you. Why are you putting cookies there, Aaron? I wonder. Daniel Croft, where would you start with a budget of around £2,000? 2 grand, Daniel. That depends on your background. What do you do? Are you an SEO guy? If you had 2 grand and you were an SEO guy and you could build your own links and do outreach and everything else, and you could do your own content, then I would probably buy a website for around about 2 grand that was already earning some money or already had, a lot of the basics done. However, it depends on your skill set. Are you good at content writing? You might turn around and say, Craig, I hate content writing and I'm not very good at it either. I would be saying, all of that 2 grand can go into the content. If you can somehow fudge up a website and you can do the link building, then that money will go into content. But again, you might say, I'm a genius at content, but I don't know anything about link building. Your money might need to go into the link building side of things. So that depends on your background, Daniel, and what you're good at and, all that kind of stuff. So it's not a straight answer for everyone. But any money that I do have, I would be spending on the legwork that I hate or can't be bothered doing. I'm buying time back is the main thing I see with money. But that is each to their own in terms of what you want to focus on. But do we have any other questions, guys? Please do let me know in the chat. If you are fed up and you were really here to see Dave, that is also fine. I am more than happy to shut up and we can leave things at that. But I'll give you a minute or so if anyone's got any questions on anything that I have just discussed. Because I'm always looking to try and guide people into not making those same mistakes as me. But you have all went quiet. So what I will do is oh, there is a couple of questions. Maeve, have you changed your process over 2022 with all of the updates? Adapted, not particularly changed anything, Maeve. I think it would be crazy to to suggest that I was doing anything crazily different. Yes, I have changed or adapted certain things. I mean, I think over the years, that's always been the case as well. What type of content ranks well? What are there's just so many things that we now have to integrate into a process. Even something like content, for example, Maeve, we now, when we outsource stuff, can we actually trust what a content writer's giving us back? Do we have to check for AI content using the AI detectors and stuff like that? So certain processes and everything else have changed and evolved and everything else. But the bottom line is, a website's a website and it's got to look natural. It's got to, certain things as well, with affiliate websites over the last few years, we do build up a persona round about that business and try and get that EAT or EEAT thing going on now as well. So certain things, have changed, and we've got to adapt and evolve and work around, what Google are looking for. So a lot of small things have changed, and we do try and tick a lot of those boxes. So, just got to improve the quality all the time, Maeve. I think we get away with a lot more in years gone by, and as I say, everywhere you turn now, there's updates and things getting clamped down on, and I think so. The quality checks is probably what changes more than anything. But links, content, CRO, trying to make things easy for the people that are on the websites, and site speed and all these things are all they've always been there over the last 3, 4, 5 years. But hopefully that answers your question. Am I hitting your expired domains with links right away? The answer is probably I don't hold off on it, Aaron. I get asked this question all the time. Now, by the time I grab that expired domain, by the time I give that to my guy who makes the website, by the time I get my content strategy in place, time has gone by, probably 2 or 3 months before I start looking at link building. That's not deliberate. Can you hit them straight away? The answer is yes. I just feel that, trying to repurpose the expired domain name and then come up with a content strategy are more important, and that is the first couple of steps. The link building would come after that, because the purpose of buying an aged or expired domain name is you're wanting to leverage the link power that it previously had. So is link building the first focus? Nah, it's not. But I think you will have to hit it with something, obviously, to improve, and all that kind of stuff. But it's not something I do, straight away. It's not something I personally do straight away. And I know guys that repurpose age domains, they don't build links at all. All they do is use a really aggressive content strategy and stick with that. But for me, I think building links and power and authority to a domain name, whether that's through digital PR, whether that's through your guest posts, or whatever else you're doing. And I think Adam said last week in one particular project, they're also 301ing aged domains in to certain sections of the website as well. And I think there was one in particular where I think he said he pointed 6 in at the project. So everyone's got different ways, but I think the link building, regardless of who does it, probably comes further down the line. It's not as I say, it's just getting the website back up, repurposing or trying to regain all of that link equity and hit it with an aggressive content strategy are the first priorities. So that's how I see it. Adam, Daniel, I was in your place a couple of years ago and I paid for tools thinking I knew enough myself. What I should have done is pay Craig or another SEO experienced SEO to guide me in the right direction. Sometimes, Adam, just 1 or 2 phone calls with someone just to give you their thoughts and their expertise can shave off a lot of time and a lot of mistakes for you. So I think sometimes, that's a very valid point. Not that I'm trying to promote that people have to pay me for my time or anything like that, but it certainly it helps massively, getting these things from other people, and I don't think it's a bad thing to suggest. And Daniel's saying he has been building his first site for the past year, haven't been building links yet, so that might be the next step. The thing is, Daniel, we all start, with different budgets, and it takes longer and all that kind of stuff, depending on, if you don't have a huge budget and stuff like that. So I think persevering, doing it slowly, building it slowly, understanding the full concept, and going on to build links, even if it's just a handful of links here and there, try and get that domain authority up. And I think, doing that side of it is really hard. Trying to earn your first $100 is the hardest part. Going from 100 to 500 or 500 to $1,000 is actually relatively easy as the cash is flown in, because you've got then more money to spend. But obviously, just getting that first step up in the ladder is always the hardest. And as I say, been there, done it, threw the towel in and everything, launch websites and thought, I'm losing interest here. It's not earning a penny. So I know how difficult it can be. So knuckling down and, just persevering. It's not nice work at the start of a project, especially if you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting all by yourself. It can be torture. So fair play to you, Daniel. Just persevere, do what you can, and as I say, continue to watch videos, ask questions from other people, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely keep going with it. Adam Hawthorne, do you still use link building software much like SEO Autopilot? And have you adjusted your strategy? This is one tool I purchased and not putting it to use right now. Any tips? So, Adam, I have spoken a lot about SEO Autopilot, Money Robot, RankerX, GSA, and all that stuff. Now, the problem here is certain countries, so the UK and the US have very, in terms of Google's algorithm, I think it's a hell of a lot more aggressive in those two countries. Are we working with the same algorithm as Italy or Poland or countries like that? I don't believe we are. So what you'll hear is certain guys saying they will use the likes of SEO Autopilot direct onto their money website. Now, they've got less competition. Their competition are like 10 years behind what we're doing anyway. So SEO Autopilot direct to a money website works in certain countries. Does it work for me direct to the money website? I wouldn't be using it. Now, that doesn't mean that these tools are not part of the strategy, though. So where does it fit in? For me, if I buy a guest post and it needs a little bit of power, because a guest post is essentially a new article on someone else's website. So yes, it might have high DR, but that UR on the website is going to be low. So would I power up a guest post or a niche edit with Money Robot or SEO Autopilot or a tool like that? Then the answer is yes, 100%. Now, a lot of people say, but how much power comes from it? Or I never seen much coming from it. It's also not all about the power. It's also about the indexation of your guest post or your niche edit or whatever it's going to be. So if I have a niche edit, I might want to, blast a whole bunch of automation at it, which is going to hopefully retain that niche edit in Google's index for longer or for, a prolonged period of time. Whereas if you don't do that, it will probably drop in and out the Google's index and then drop in and out of giving you power. So do these tools form part of a strategy? Yes, they do. So they are used. It's just where they're used in my strategy. And as I say, I don't want to run the tools down because I know people out there are using them direct, on the money websites, but they're not people in the UK or the US, I would argue. People want to build a tiered link building structure. They don't want to harm their own website, which is why that tier one is always digital PR or guest posts, and then underneath that you might use edits and some of the automated link building tools that are out there. So that's how I use them. As I say, they still form part of the overall strategy, but people grab these tools and start firing them up and sending it direct to their website, and then turn around and say, oh, it didn't work, or Google ignored it, or worse still, I've done too much of it and it's actually harmed my rankings. So I think it's all about understanding what these tools do, the benefits of them, and stuff like that. So yes, they still are tools that I use on a regular basis. And SEO Autopilot is probably the best. If you look at the three similar tools, SEO Autopilot, Money Robot, or RankerX, I think Elias from SEO Autopilot built that tool because he was sick of Money Robot. He was a big Money Robot user and was sick of the lack of new inventory or fresh inventory on there. So decided to go and make SEO Autopilot for himself. And it is now obviously a good business for him. So yeah, it's obviously newer, it's more up to date, in my opinion. So SEO Autopilot is certainly the one for me. So I don't think you made a bad choice in buying that one. But guys, we are out of time. And yeah, we will be back same time next week for Niche Website Builders. If you are hungry for more information, I am back in an hour with Brad Maybury and Mike Pierce doing our usual weekly Q&A session. So we will be back in an hour for that. But for now, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed some of what I've had to say, and I will catch you guys at the same time next week with another guest from Niche Website Builders. Catch you later, guys.